Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie. I'm the owner and the founder of Lady Failte. You are either watching this video on my Facebook group or my YouTube channel, which are both called Lady Failte's Light Healing. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Samhain. Not going to be a super long video. I'm trying to actually cut my video lengths back a little bit so they're not quite so long. And we'll see how that goes. I tend to get rambling and I tend to get sidetracked, and I'm going to try to just be a little bit better about staying on task, on focus. All right, so we are going to start with our normal routine of smudging. Hope everybody had a really good weekend. I did a lot of cleaning, and I still got a lot more to go. So a little bit of smudge for you and for me. I recommend that you smudge at least twice a week. Daily is better, but if you don't really feel the need to, then twice is probably good. You might want to do it a little more often, breaking things, during cold and flu season because it is antibacterial. I'm going to smudge my hands. I think it's very important to smudge our hands. We touch a lot of things, and we touch a lot of people, and we touch things that people have touched, and just same as like, hand sanitizer. You touch a lot of things and need to kind of clear that out. Just gonna light my Paleo Santos here for a second. Nothing wants to light for me right now. A little bit of that smoke there for us. And we'll get our candle lit and then we'll get going here. So we have transformation for our candle for this month. The new candle for November came the other day, but we'll wait and show that in a couple more days. I'm like so off. I don't know what day it is. Like I'm really having a hard time with what day it is, what time it is, where I'm supposed to be lately. Last week we pulled mango calcite. So I'm going to put that back in the deck and we'll pull a new one. And not pulling for anyone particular, pulling for the group as a collective. So I think it's nice if if I have the stone that I draw, I do try to carry it with me for the week. All right, so let's see what we got here. Black onyx is what we have. So probably a lot of people right now, and we'll get into this with Samhain, is the thinning of the veil, and a lot of energies are coming through right now. So black onyx is definitely very grounding. So that is probably why we got that card. So black onyx is self-mastery, inner strength, and focus. It does go with your root chakra. So black onyx purifies your thoughts, enhances mental aptitude, encourages persistence, and has a calming influence. You have pulled this card because you need to be reminded of the following principles. As we think, so we believe and behave. Meditate with black onyx to encourage positive thinking, promote resilience, and embrace a tranquil outlook. God, I'm so blind. I have an eye appointment coming up. Because I really am blind. Like, I have glasses for the computer, and then I have glasses for every other time. But then when I go to read something, I can't see shit. I have to take all my glasses off. I'm just taking a picture of that real quick so I can get that up there, because I forgot about posting last week's. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Samhain, and I did a video last year on Samhain, so I don't feel like I need to spend a whole lot of time. If anybody wants more than what I'm going to share in this video, you can certainly go back and find the other video. Like I said, it will be in the group or on YouTube. The thing I like about YouTube is the videos are titled, and you can go to my YouTube channel and you can scroll through them and see all the videos and what they're titled. And on the Facebook group, you've either got to scroll through a year's worth of stuff to go find the video, or there is a link at the top, like where the events and the about and discussion are. There is one in there for video, but then it just is all these pictures of my face. They're not labeled, so it's really hard to find the one you're looking for. So Facebook, if you're listening, you need to fix that. But you can go back to the YouTube channel and find it on there. So, Gatorade today. Trying to keep myself hydrated. I don't do a very good job at it, which is most likely why I've had a headache for over a week, because I'm not hydrated. Samhain. All right. So, like I said, we've talked about this in another video, and I've talked about it on and off over the last couple of weeks. But Samhain is a Celtic festival. The word itself just translates into summer's end. It is one of their big festivals, but pagans love festivals, and they love to celebrate and have bonfires and drink and dance. And I kind of like all those things too. It is their end of their year. So they don't necessarily, like we celebrate New Year's, they celebrate the end of their year. I mean, it's really it's the same but different, right? So the celebration is the end of the year. So we're going to notice that obviously our days are a lot darker. As you can tell behind me, it's pretty dark right now. And it's just going to keep getting darker. I'm turning orange. It's going to keep getting darker. Now I'm blue. And I think that I'll have to figure out something for some lighting situation, because yeah, it's pretty dark in here, and it's just going to keep getting darker. So you're going to see that our days are much darker. It's that whole, you get up and drive to work in the dark, and by the time you get out of work and drive home, it's dark again. So that's, yeah, and you're going to feel like, people talk about the fall air, and they're like, oh, it's got a crisp to it, or it's got a different feel to it. And I really think that the air is really kind of almost like electrically charged. Not that it's dangerous to go outside or anything like that. I'm just saying I think there's like a certain energy. And I think that is partly because of the thinning of the veil, which again, we've talked about that. So what happens, like starting somewhere mid-September, all the way into October, the veil is thinning, and that means the kind of like I explained it as like a curtain, like if you have a shower curtain. It's a really bad analogy, but if you have a shower curtain, you can get the really dark ones that you can't see anything through, and then you can get the ones that are semi-clear, and you can kind of see through them, but not quite all the way. So that is where we normally have that curtain that you really can't see through it at all. And then going into September and October, we're kind of have that curtain that you can kind of see through it, but not quite all the way. And then right around this week, the last week of October, is when the veil is going to be the thinnest. It's almost like having one of those clear plastic shower curtains that you can pretty much see right through. So that is this week. And then starting going into November, we're going to feel that veil thickening back up again and closing up. So again, it's a really bad analogy, but I guess it works. So that's what this energy is right now. It's that thinning of the veil and all the energies that we're feeling and picking up on from the other side. And I don't say that to be scary. I don't believe in, I've talked about this in lots of my videos too. And maybe someday I'll change my mind. I don't know. But all I can tell you is right now, I don't believe in negative forces in the universe as far as demons or the devil or evil spirits that are going to come over through the veil. I feel very much the same as my teacher Athena. When we leave this body and we pass on to wherever you feel that we're going, and I've talked about that, and trying to stay on task here. We've talked about that. You can go back and find other videos on that. But when our energy, our soul, leaves our body, it leaves all that human stuff in the body. It doesn't take it with us. It doesn't take anger and jealousy and hate, pride, ego. All those things are given to us to help us keep our body safe. And we've talked about how you have to keep those in balance. The lights in the shadow of all of those things. And again, you can go back and watch that in another video if you'd like. So we are given all those things to help keep our body safe. So when we leave our body, those things stay with our body. And so we as spirits, souls, energy, whatever you prefer to reference it as, don't have that anger, that jealousy, the pride, the ego, all those things that a negative energy, people think negative energy would be. And I'm not telling anybody that you're wrong. I'm just telling you that's my belief. So, and I know it can get touchy when people don't always agree. I had this conversation last night with someone who felt differently than me, and I think was upset when I said my beliefs, because I think she thought I was saying I didn't believe her or that she was wrong. And that's not what I try to do. I try to explain how I feel and what I think. And if some of it resonates with you and you want to take it, great. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's perfectly fine as well. It's the information I'm sharing is from what I've learned and what I know. And if it doesn't resonate with you, that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to change your beliefs. I'm not here to be like, this is the way it is and this is what you need to do. That is not my intention with these videos. My intention is to give some information, and if you want to take it, if it resonates with you, awesome. If it doesn't, I've told people that there's a couple of different people I watch things from on YouTube. I try to like to take things from more than one person. I'm getting off track again. Everything I say is not necessarily going to resonate with you, because we're all different and all our beliefs are a little different. And that's okay. But I'm sharing what my interpretation of and what my beliefs and my feelings are. So again, I got sidetracked. So back to the thinning of the veil. So basically where I was going with all of that was that I don't believe there are evil spirits that are going to come over across the veil. I don't believe, you know, that part of it. There's certainly a lot of people that do. There's certainly a lot of stories about it, folklore about it. The whole story of the jack-o'-lantern came because they used to carve, one of the stories is they used to carve faces into turnips to ward off, you know, scary faces to ward off evil spirits. Another story that I heard, again, I'm getting off track here, was they used to carve just holes in the turnips, and they would put them on their path from like where the festival was, the bonfire, to their homes, so that they could see their way home after the festival. So, I mean, there's, you know, different versions of it, and I'm sure none of us will probably ever really know, or it could be a little bit of both. So back to the thinning of the veil. So that's where a lot of the energy is coming from right now. And a lot of people who have some sort of gift are probably going to be a little overactive right now. And they're probably going to be getting a lot of stuff coming through for them. So that can be a little challenging if you're a psychic, a medium. Oh, cameo from the dog. She's like, what? So again, getting sidetracked, but what I can really just tell you guys is I am not an empath, so I don't experience that. Part of it is, but what I've learned from different people in my groups and from my teachers is that you need to, when you're being overly emotional, and I'm not saying that like negatively, just if you're feeling an emotion that's coming, just kind of sit with it and figure out if it's your emotion or if it's someone else's emotion, and to ground. Right now, these next few weeks, you're just going to want to really be doing some grounding work. So again, I got videos on grounding, but outside barefoot, salt baths, teas, all those things are going to be grounding, and your grounding stones are pretty much, you're safe with anything that is a black stone. It's a nifty one, isn't it? Black stones are going to be your grounding ones. Even my pendulum I like is a tourmaline. So you're going to definitely want to work with some black stones right now. He's one of my favorites. I've showed him to you guys before. I got him down in Springfield at the gemstone show that I went and actually met Athena at. All right. Sidetracking again. So my whole theory on Samhain, I guess. Again, it's their end of the year, so it's very similar to what we would have a New Year celebration. It's their end of the year celebration. Actually, their system makes more sense to me than our system. I don't know why our New Year is like in the middle of winter. That never really seemed quite right to me, but I don't think I'm going to change the whole calendar system anytime soon. So like I said, it's right now the nights are getting longer, and the growing is done and the harvesting is done. And so this, in my theory, is nature cleaning itself out. We're seeing all the leaves falling off the trees. My alarm to get finishing up because it's time to go to work. The leaves are falling off the trees. You know, the fruits, vegetables, whatever, if it hasn't been harvested, is dying off. And so we are kind of getting ready now to just enter the quiet of winter. And so kind of my whole theory on this is that the seasons, the 4 seasons, are basically the 4 seasons of life, is kind of my version of it, I guess. So winter is kind of our quiet time. And I think of that as our pregnancy. I know it's not quite the best analogy, but it's kind of what I got here. Winter is kind of our pregnancy, where we're quiet and we're resting and we're preparing for spring. So we're preparing for life. So so spring is the birth. So that's when we see all the flowers come out and the blossoms, and the trees are, their leaves are all coming back. So spring is the birth. Then summer is the life. So that is when our fruits and vegetables are all at their fullest. And then autumn is our death. So autumn is when everything is dying off and being returned back to the earth. And so that is kind of the 4 seasons. And that's how I think Samhain kind of ties into autumn. And that's kind of how the thinning of the veil kind of falls in there. And I mean, I'm not explaining it overly well, but I really do feel that it's all connected and it's all tied into each other. And it's a cycle. Like our cycle of the seasons is kind of the cycles of our life. And, so that's my theory on it. But as we know, Samhain has kind of been relabeled as Halloween. And Halloween is celebrated on October 31st. The pagans didn't necessarily have a calendar hanging on their fridge that they checked off the days, so they know today is Tuesday, October 29th. They kind of went by the seasons. They knew when the weather was changing, and they knew when it was fall, and they knew that it was Samhain season. So it wasn't necessarily just a day, like Halloween is October 31st, but as most of us know, most people celebrate, they put their Halloween decorations up pretty much the whole month of October. There's events going on pretty much the whole month of October. So that would have been very much like how Samhain was actually celebrated. It wouldn't have been just a one-day thing. It was celebrated throughout the season of Samhain. So like I said, it's kind of been turned into Halloween and very much commercialized with the whole costumes and the candy. Quick thing is, a lot of cultures, what they would do is they would dress up to scare off evil spirits. That was one reason why they used to dress up. The whole trick-or-treats, I think, came from a lot of cultures. When the thinning of the veil comes, they would set out treats on their doorstep for their loved ones. So they would, their loved ones would come to them and find them because they would put out their favorite treats. So, I don't know, if Grandpa's favorite dessert was apple crisp. I'm just throwing something out there. They would put out apple crisp so Grandpa could come and visit you during the thinning of the veil, kind of a thing. So that's where the treats kind of at the doorstep kind of came from, is that people would put out treats and, candles or their favorite flowers, anything like that. They would put on their doorsteps for their ancestors to help so their ancestors would come and visit them during the thinning of the veil. So just a quick little tidbit of where some of that stuff came from. So where the pumpkins came from, and the costumes came from, and the trick-or-treating came from. So it's kind of all different cultures mushed in to Halloween. I don't think, we have anything too much coming up right now. A couple of things we'll talk about on Thursday. We did have a new moon last night, so the new moon was in Scorpio. So I hope everybody took a minute to, if you didn't do a full ritual and things like that, that's perfectly fine. I didn't either last night. I was tired and I've had this headache for about a week and a half now. So I didn't, but still good to, even if you're not doing a full ritual, is to set some intentions. So I have done that, part of it at least, set some intentions for the new moon. And I think that's pretty much it. So we'll talk about probably Thursday, we'll probably talk about Day of the Dead. And again, I have another video that I did last year, so it'll probably just be a short little recap video on Day of the Dead. I did want to go back and do a video on cardinal, mutable, and fixed, so that's going to be coming up shortly. And then we'll be talking about Scorpio, of course. So those are all things to come up in the next couple of weeks. And as always, I'm always willing to take suggestions. So if you have something you want to talk about, you can certainly let me know, and I can either direct you to a video I've already done or do a video on it if I haven't. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you got any questions or comments, you can just put them right below the video, or you can send me a private message. I'm perfectly fine with that as well. Haven't had anybody ask for a while, but I don't think I've mentioned it, is I am always willing to do a card pull for you. I'm not working yet as far as with people on the tarot cards. I don't feel like I've had enough time to learn them and do that well, but I have 5 different oracle decks, so I can certainly pull some cards from there. So if you're ever interested in getting a card pull, you can just send me a private message and I'll do that for you. Winter's coming and I'll be home a little bit more on the weekends, so sometimes what I'll do is just come on and do some card pulls for people. So maybe that will be coming up soon, but I don't know. I'm waiting for it to slow down, but we still have to get through Thanksgiving and then Christmas. So maybe sometime in January I can actually get some rest and relax. But with that, I bid you all adieu. I don't really know where that saying comes from. I have to Google that. It always interests me where things come from, what they actually mean. All right. I hope everybody has a great day. I will see you on Thursday. The plan as right now is we'll be talking about Day of the Dead. And remember to be kind. Your kindness not only changes your day, but it could change somebody else's day and potentially even their lives. So have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.